Wait, are you talking about?
Oh, wait, let's wait till we start.
I got two different questions.
Before we start, I have to take my dog to my pet center at 7, so if I leave, that's.
This meeting may run a little bit longer than usual.
But they're not on that, like, you get 8, so I can just put it down.
Well, no, but it may not be at an hour. Okay, okay, we're live. Okay. Call meeting of the Parks and Recreation Board to order. Let's see, I'm gonna say the pledge. Everyone stand up and face the flag. As you know,
Yes, thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation.
It's right there.
Honor the Texas flag. Allegiance to the Texas one state. One individual. Okay, now, let's see, did you had some business first, were you gonna hand out those? Well, were you going? Yeah,
It's up to you, what do you want?
yeah, let's do this first.
It's Christmas.
Yeah, they have made some really nice reference manuals for us with all sorts of stuff in it. Thank you. They even have like shiny little page holders. Yeah.
Sorry, Bob, you yours and you get the count. Sorry.
Yeah.
I have to go to Bob.
And we'll have a test at the next meeting later on.
Want me to explain it?
Yeah, go ahead and give us a quick overview of it.
Basically, what I did when I created these notebooks is I tried to put in there things that I found through my work experience that might be applicable to you guys. There's a table of contents in the front, and I'm holding mine. Put my notebooks in the big section, so much better hand it. In every notebook is the map, listed city limits in EPJ. May not be applicable to you guys. Wimberley Valley Trails and the council liaison 911. Where it becomes pertinent to you guys is starting from the tabs. There's the ordinance of y'all's formation. And y'all are actually part of chapter 30. So that's tab 1 and tab 2. Tab 3 is your green spaces. The trees board also has this tab. Tab 4 was something that Pat suggested you put in your notebooks, which is a new start for Parks and Wood Creek, which is part of your packet, which is why it's not printed, because it was already printed in your notebooks.
There's the POSAC proposal.
Yes. And then tab 5 is the Public Playground and Safety Handbook, which is another document that Pat asked me to include. Tab 6 is Texans Keep Healthy in City Park. Just thought it was cool. It's a magazine that had a lot of interesting information, or not information, but a lot of interesting articles as I was looking for stuff. The next tab 7, is the Tree City USA description. Tree Board has this in their notebook. It's only in here because y'all
have
parks. You have trees. There's trees in the park. And then the next tab 8, the Tree City USA standards. This is what the tree board had to abide by when qualified. We're trying to apply as a Tree City USA. And tab 9 is the article in the Wimberley View in which the tree board was successful in getting us designated as a Tree City USA city. And tab 10 is intentionally empty. And these last 5 tabs are information that every notebook's got, or every board, committee, panel, commission notebook has. A lot of it's from our TML, which is the Texas Municipal League. That's the website or agency that we use for like legal advice, legal guidelines, just in general assistance when you're have a question on anything And, these are just the different articles that are in here. There's an email guide, there's a phishing email example, which is really funny. Because, you know, in your personal email, you'll notice that you get all kinds of things and they're not necessarily from the people you think they're from. There's a couple of things, what is this, 11, 12. NACO, the right way to run a meeting. That's just a guide, that's another agency.
I need to study that.
Well, it gets better. NACO has their description of motions and, what types of motions and things like that. And I should have moved this. Tab 13 is more information on TML, kind of describing what they are, and why we use them as a source. And then there's think twice for giving gifts to city officials or employees. That's just FYI. Legal requirements for Texas city officials. That's what, you know, the boards and committees and council have to be aware of. The excerpt, a guide to becoming a city official, kind of duplicates some of the definitions that are in that previous article. And tab 4, what is that? 14 is more TML information, but it's a training document. The first one is the Robert's Rules of Order cheat sheet. So you can look at NACO if you want that other NACO document, if you want an explanation. But this cheat sheet is more like a quick reference, and it's 5 pages. And then there's the next thing, which I think is blue, green. That's information on motions, because there's incidental motions, there's all different kinds of motions, and where they weigh on what they call the motion, quote unquote, ladder. And then survival tips on Robert's Rules of Order, just funny stories or scenarios where, you know, you can see as an example, parliamentary terms is the next one. And then the last tab is more TML documents. They're not our official policies or anything, that's just their guides on how to.
This is social media.
Right. We have our own social media policy, but that's just information.
Okay. Thank you very much. This is a lot of work. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks a lot. Okay, let's see. Is the workshop. And let's see, you handed out these to everyone, the walking workshop notes.
With that or colored survey as the last page.
Okay. We normally on workshops don't take minutes or notes, but Suzanne did, so it's kind of handy because we were all over the place and capturing some of the different thoughts is handy. So if you want to look through this and you have any questions about this as we kind of go into the workshop portion of the meeting. We had a good turnout at that workshop, so we had a lot of people taking part. No public comments, I assume.
No.
Okay. And we don't have any, do we have any minutes to approve?
No, the last minutes you approved.
At the last
was at
meeting?
the last meeting, and I just have it printed for you for the sign.
Oh, okay. And let's see. And do you guys have any reports?
I do not.
Okay. Okay, so workshop to discuss ideas for development work and equipment acquisition for various Wood Creek parks. The reason that I asked to put this in there was because we're kind of at this stage where we're juggling a lot of different ideas about exactly what, you know, what pieces of equipment and such we're putting in and the different priorities and such. And I've been doing, as Elizabeth pointed out, I've been kind of stepping on some other people's toes by contacting folks. No, but I was, yeah, no, basically, this is just an open discussion right now of any ideas as it pertains to all 3 parks. I don't want it to go on ad infinitum because it could. I had an idea that if we could have one vendor for the triangle, one vendor for Creekside Park, and then whatever we do at Augusta Park could be a combination or something different. But the reason I was thinking, one reason that I wanted to have one vendor for the Triangle Park is because the initial gazebo that we found would require us to do 3 bids. And so we'd have to find 3 two more virtually identical ones. And, we got a postcard in the other day from a company called, what was it, Lee? Could you hand these to just one to each person? It's Lee Park and Play. And Lee Park and Play is a buy board member. Does everyone know what buy board is?
No.
It is a cooperative, buying organization where public, governments, city, county, whatever governments go together and pool their buying power. And so you get heavy discounts by going through buy board, and you do not have to do 3 bids. So the resultant bid that you get in from buy board is usually has been pre-vetted by them going through all of this and, just kind of running comps on what they charge for things, getting people to submit their best bids on things. Lee Park and Play had a gazebo that I ran across that was all steel. And so instead of having the red cedar, I was wondering, and this is a thing for Cody, as far as his construction expertise, as to whether we might do better having either painted or powder coated steel if it's attractive versus the red cedar. I have red cedar posts on my back deck that have many, many holes in them from carpenter bees and ants. So, I don't know, that's something that I would like to, discuss. Do you have any thoughts on that, Cody?
Be a higher initial installation cost by a little bit. Cedar's expensive, but the durability is gonna be much further and maintenance costs will be much less. It'd be a better investment to go with steel and wood, in my opinion.
And it is powder coated, it is got
I'm not sure if it's powder coated.
Yeah.
Powder coated is prohibitively expensive, I would say, without actually getting pricing on it, but you can paint it correctly and it will last a long time. You use a hot solids metal primer on it, and then use an epoxy, like an industrial or marine epoxy on it, and it'll stay painted for 10 years.
And we're not on the Gulf Coast,
And then you
so,
paint it again.
yeah.
and it would come that way,
You can,
order it that way.
it would probably be primed when you get it and be painted in situ.
Oh,
Okay.
you think so? Huh.
That'd be my guess. I mean, it's because in shipping and installation, it's gonna get damaged.
Oh, I see.
Suzanne, could you bring that picture up that I sent you of I think it's called an Aztec gazebo? And so it looks like it has 4x4 steel columns, and then it has a, steel railing around it. Now, this is a lot bigger
I know,
than
it's bigger.
six.
I was fixing to say that.
Yeah,
That one on the
yeah.
picture is a lot bigger than the one.
Now, this is
Yeah.
probably like a 30-foot one.
Yeah,
or so.
but still,
Like 6x6 uprights too.
Oh, maybe. I think there are 4x4s on the 16, because when I was talking to the guy. So anyway, the reason I'm kind of going back to my initial thought on the 2 different vendors is the Game Time vendors do not have this thing.
Yeah.
But the Lee Park and Play do have this thing. And I was thinking it might serve our purposes to have 2 different vendors that were in 2 different segregated areas that knew that in subsequent areas, if they performed well, that whoever was best to us might have a foot in the door to get subsequent work. And there might kind of have a little bit of a competitive edge in having the two different ones. And,
Is this a big enough apple for them to wanna bite it?
yeah, no, I've already talked to the sales guy, with Lee Park and Play, and I gave him a list of this with like 5 benches and 5 racks and other things on this particular, the triangle.
Design.
But, I basically, the way I was thinking is if we could just have game time, do Creekside, and this company do the triangle. Is that fallacious thinking?
Good thinking.
The bid we got from this room does have the same red roof. Just FYI.
And it's a metal roof,
The metal roof, yes.
I would strongly encourage a metal roof.
Yeah, it's red, metal roof.
We're
and-
going
the red.
Well, it just needs to be metal.
I just, if people are so insistent that the playground equipment like blend in, is red like?
I don't think it has to be red. I think it can be pretty much any color that you can buy metal roofs in.
Oh, I didn't realize that the playground had to be blended. I don't know if playgrounds.
Many that like people have made that they wanted the playground like aesthetically.
I haven't heard that.
I've heard of
I've
that.
heard
That
that,
was
yeah.
a lot.
That,
So I just didn't know if that should follow the same.
Yeah,
yeah, well,
and the other one has a bench section, that's obviously not. very
yeah,
good.
well, when I said, this one does not come with a bench, but I asked for 3 6-foot benches to go inside.
Yeah.
That can be fairly easily detached from the slab with a special wrench if you decided to do something that used every single square foot of the interior.
Oh, okay.
But they would be secure enough that somebody couldn't walk off with them.
You put those lag bolts in the concrete.
Maybe a drop-in anchor that's female threaded, and you
Yeah.
have security screws with that, so you pull the security screws out and it's flush.
Right.
You don't have a bolt sticking up out the floor.
And so, I've got a guy quoting on that, just so you know, I'm sorry I didn't ask you to
Do we have a preliminary design on the gazebo that we're actually looking at? Are we talking about?
That is the Aztec design. They've got 4 or 5 different designs.
I think the fifth room one is pretty similar.
It looks a lot like it.
It's smaller, yeah.
That's one of my main concerns
I've never
with
seen
the
it.
gazebo was the relevance of, I mean, every gazebo I've ever seen, and I'm a builder. So I look at the utility or the aesthetic value of something and like, a gazebo that you normally see that's like Victorian or anti-Victorian
Mhm.
with the lacework scrolling and stuff on the top of that. I don't like that at all. That looks a lot better.
Cody, here's a picture of what the fifth room, it's very similar to that. Yeah. It's very
The
similar.
other one was pretty simple.
Yeah,
Jessica,
it
do you have any comments?
Yeah, we don't want.
Not as far as design goes.
Okay,
Okay. You have other comments on it?
yeah.
Right now, other than what we have for slab,
Uh-huh,
bids, no.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're kind of in this phase where we're going down the checklist and trying to do what we said we were going to do.
Yeah.
And what everyone expects us to do.
So you'll be getting a price on theirs 16. foot.
Yeah, he's
Pretty
going
good.
to quote that.
Okay, so that's the main.
So, so anyway, as far as the triangle goes, it's pretty simple. It's got the gazebo and it has 3 benches inside, and then it would have 2 benches outside on the 2 concrete slabs that are already there
Yeah.
that have the defunct,
And
and a bicycle rack and a water fountain.
Let's talk about the random benches while we're talking about it.
Okay.
Just my opinion, we need to take an air hammer to those concrete slabs and remove them. And
The
throw
ones
benches
that are
in the
out there.
trash. Yeah.
Oh,
They're like, who chose that spot?
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's very random. if we put in a gazebo right there, I think we ought to look at, maybe kind of organizing the space and making it useful throughout. And those benches are at the end of their useful lifespan.
Well, one of them's already
You
gone.
want to-
One of them,
Oh, is it gone now?
Yeah,
pieces of two of them.
then the other one's unsuitable, so.
And what are some issues with this, like not necessarily being able to be a park, because it's like a whole, is it like a right of way or something, is that all like figured
We
out?
had a discussion on that this afternoon.
Yes, there's, as far as the right of way, there's not an issue with the building on it.
Didn't council pass that as a park?
Yeah.
No, they can't. It was already a right of way. It's street with grass on it.
It's.
How can it be converted to a park?
It would have, I don't know if it can because it's a right of way. And I think that's part of the problem. When they tried to, they couldn't because it was designated a right of way and there might be utilities or something in there. And so as for us building on it, there's not a problem with us building on it, and even individuals parking out there as well on the grass, just like they do
The constables.
the constable and most everybody that in a lot of Wood Creek, you know, you see all the cars parked on the side of the road, but all four tires are off. That's what we would look for. So yeah, we haven't found any reason why we couldn't build it on there.
I like that style.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely, isn't it? But it's huge.
And our mayor was in on this discussion today as well, and he concurred. So.
Yeah.
What if there were savings, what if we gained savings in other parks that could be applied to more substantial structure at the triangle? So, I mean, kind of think on what order do we build things out in?
I think one of the problems with the triangle going with the bigger structure I don't want to steal your thunder, so.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Is the, space that you have.
Mhm.
There are two trees there with pretty big canopies. If you think, you know, the middle pole
Mhm.
right there, that's where the electricity is, so we kind of have to be offset from the middle. And I think if you get it too big, it would be too close to the road on the,
It would become very offset and tucked back into one
Well,
corner.
we're talking about where the electricity can be moved easily.
But it's
That's not
the
even a
trees,
day's work.
it's.
I heard about the trees, but
Yeah,
if
it's
the
more-
electricity was a factor, that's not even a day's work to move that electricity.
Yes, it is the tree canopy that's the bigger issue. Me and Pat were out there, man, a couple months ago, when we looked at Creekside and the triangle, and we're trying to position the tree, or we're trying to position the gazebo and how big it could be with the overhead, and we kind of figured, what, 12 by 12? Is that what we came up with?
Well, no, it's a 16 foot octagon.
Because the way the overhang is, there's like a beam
Mhm.
that goes in there, and so you can kind of put one of those, you can kind of stick it in that canopy. Pretty nice. I mean, we can look at it, that's.
Do those trees need any maintenance in the canopy?
They all need, maintenance of the canopy, but we have to wait till July. to-
And some of them are pretty massive limbs that you would end up editing.
I don't need editing, I mean maintenance, I mean, does the drip line need to be altered for a healthy tree?
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
Would that clear up real estate?
No, I don't believe it would clear up enough real estate.
It's worth looking at.
It is, yeah,
The cheating 4 feet at a time in considering a 20-foot, 24-foot, could we cheat in to a 20-foot instead of 16-foot? Is I think where Cody's going to, because we don't know if we cheat up just a little bit.
I think the cost is going to start eating you once you. get up
Well,
there.
that's the thing though, that there might be a potential for some savings. I mean,
We're
I'm doing the math,
fighting
even with
inflation.
I'm doing the math even with 20% escalation and there might be a little bit of money. In what we have, there's a
Did
possibility.
you look at the sheet?
Yeah, that I have, I'm looking at all of them right now.
Okay, it's just a long list of cost items.
Mhm.
And we've already edited out the deck over at Augusta Park, which was initially $37,000 before inflation, went up to about $42,000 after inflation. And so by scratching that, we've got $267,000 that we are authorized to expend on this effort. And, I'm dubious that we could go a whole lot more. And since this is metal, I told the guy that he asked what our pain threshold was on this. And I used the same number that we had on the cedar thing. I said 20K. And I know he's gonna come back, so I couldn't do 20K.
Yeah.
But,
It's more than that even then. That was 2021.
yeah, so anyway, I just did.
I'm just one, here's what I'm getting at, this is what I'm moving towards. Why build something if it's not something that's useful?
Big enough to be.
Yeah.
And I
And
don't
we
think,
can build something,
I don't see there, I mean, because what we would do is go out and say, hey, give us your bid for a 16 by, or 20 by 20.
Mhm.
I don't see any reason why we couldn't say, hey, give us a 2020, give us a 24 by 24 and present it to y'all and see that cost spread. And if it's, I mean, and then you decide, okay, is it worth it or is it not, or is it not even viable? But for him to put a bid together for an extra 4 foot all the way around, I don't see any, I mean, if that's what you,
it can't hurt.
you're right, I mean,
I would,
I would like to explore every option if that's.
yeah,
I think we need to go out and look at where it would go and see if it would fit.
That's another thing, we would have,
How envision happening in the gazebo? I mean, just people walking and sitting and talking with their dogs and things.
what's not, what's not that, you know, to help answer your question, is that a 24 by 24?
I'm not sure. It looks like it may be.
That's big enough for 2 kids to roller skate in.
Would you let your kid roller skate there?
Yeah.
I'd be afraid to fly off in the road.
as for what it needs. The city is looking at doing some events. Of course, we have the distribution of the luminaries during Christmas, and we have Christmas, you know, stuff, we have carolers. During the year, 4th of July, spectacular. Also too, but during the summer, we kind of thrown out some ideas of maybe doing a movie in the park or something like that, where people could just come.
Where's
I've
the
also,
bigger one for help?
I've also thought of maybe, games at the park, where maybe in the afternoon, you know, bunch of people would want to bring their dominoes or cards, and they could sit up there and play for an hour to meet other people.
Is it gonna have a ceiling fan?
Well,
Ceiling fans everywhere.
Seriously.
That's an easy thing, yeah.
others that have, newborn kids, they get together and, they have play dates or whatever. It's shady, you go up there and sit, you can have them in a stroller, or you can let them kind of run around there if you wanted them to. But that would be, another, option. So there are more than just, hey, he's gonna sit there and somebody
Okay.
walking like it.
I could maybe see like a group workout class.
Oh, there you go.
You could have a yoga or jazzercise,
Movies in the park?
Movies in the park, yes. But you could have it in there and just in the surrounding area as well. That Triangle's a beautiful place.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's,
And you
everybody drives by it that comes in here, and it needs to be special, you know, like the nice benches and a water fountain and, you know.
And
I
you
don't know if
can
anybody rides
park
bikes in
quite
here.
a few cars around.
Yep.
Probably get 15 or 20 cars.
And that's okay to park the whole way
Yes.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we would hope they would also walk up there with bike racks, maybe ride their bike. And so it wouldn't be all golf course.
Well, and you know, if you had a special event, you could close off that one, that's
That
that
side.
side.
Yeah, also
I'm
you,
putting to that one.
also you could reserve that if you're a Wood Creek resident or party.
Birthday party.
Special events where we would go out there and put up a sign saying reserved for, city manager rule from 10 to 2. And then that way everybody knows, oh, okay, they're gonna be up here, we can't use it,
Yeah.
but that would be something.
They do that.
For birthday, for birthday parties, if you have a structure to have the actual party in, there's also room at that place to put a bounce house in.
Yes,
And there's electricity.
oh, yeah,
Oh, there you go.
yeah,
Yeah.
And to the-
The,
They don't actually function at that park.
it would.
The gazebo over at Cypress Point, they use for their board meetings all the time. And so they sit around inside the gazebo on nice days, instead of everybody crowding in a little conference room, they sit in the gazebo and have meetings.
How big is theirs, do you think?
It's about 16 by 16.
Okay.
It's,
We should
it's,
go over there, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's the one that's kind of hanging over the little brawl down there. So anyway, so it sounds like the consensus is we need to look at a bigger footprint and see if we could afford it.
See if we can save money somewhere else so that we can afford it. If we're gonna build something that's gonna be out there in front, it needs to be something that's, it needs to be nice.
Well, that's what I was going toward though.
I think metal is probably the way to go.
I do like wonder though, if, I just don't know that that blends as well into the neighborhood as like more, in my head, it would be like a little bit more rustic looking, and that might just be me.
Green roof?
I don't know, it just.
Well, I mean, the size could be, the white could be brown.
It's like, look different to go to.
I can tell y'all I have a red roof on my house and I wish it was a green roof because I'm gonna spend about $3,000 getting my roof washed.
No.
Yeah, we get biological growth on it from the oak trees and there's not a product that they sell off the shelf that we're doing that.
But they do have active green.
Yes, if it's very.
So that's, yeah. And we're not stuck with whites. I mean, it could be, you know,
Brown.
we're getting. Sure. No, we can that's kind of the next level.
I think
Yeah.
it's cute, I just don't know that it doesn't like scream Wimberley, Wood Creek. They're like vibe to me.
Yeah, I think this meeting was more of getting everybody on the page, okay, we want a gazebo, this is kind of the style we want, not necessarily the color. Just like on the other parks too, that, okay, here's all of our options, or we're all coming to agreement on here, and then the colors and, you know, sizes.
I'll agree, not.
And one reason that I went with this one is it actually did have a railing around, you know, like a waist high railing. Because a lot of the gazebos you see just have uprights in the roof.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that is very Spartan.
Yeah,
So I thought this was,
it's attractive.
yeah,
The railing really just allows you to have landscaping around it, because if you didn't have the railing, the kids would destroy the landscaping.
yeah. Okay, let's see, now as far.
And if we build that, there's gonna be some landscaping, because Jane lives down the street.
If there was like a little like some butterfly attracts.
Rose
Yeah.
bushes. Come on.
Oh, Jane will start drooling when she sees this.
At my yard, I think we're about to do that.
Oh, really? I planted all.
They're nice, like. Hi. You have
It's, it's looking green. They, so.
You booby trap me, it's impossible to maintain yard.
Why do you think those two? Why do you think you?
I just wanna bulldoze that back corner and have nothing there.
So anyway, can we go on to Creekside and talk about it a little bit?
Sure.
Are y'all kind
Do
of?
we have any kind of resolution there? Do we, we're
Yes.
Well,
taking,
we'll have to put a workshop to, make any motions, but I think the general consensus is everybody's kind of on board and y'all can make a motion once we get out, but seems like
Yeah,
everybody.
there is a place to make a motion later in the agenda. We're just kind of brainstorming right now.
For me, it sounds like, everybody's on board and, want to look at different sizes, different colors.
Yeah.
But as for
And
putting the gazebo on there, the kind of the style is what we need to go, what we need to do is go get bids and then bring them back in, so y'all can look at those and get down to into the weeds on exactly.
Yeah.
what those-
And with an emphasis whenever possible of buying through someone who is one of the cooperative purchasing places, so we don't get caught in many multiple bids on multiple things. Over on Creekside Park, Cody, you had gotten some different playscapes from, Game Time for Cunningham Recreation.
and the basics on those were that there are units that were on sale drastically discounted, if you believe the initial price. I mean, I don't know, it must be adjusting the basic anything.
Yes, I'm sure we. Oh crap, I forgot to bring the rope sample. Todd Miller sent me a really nice rope sample of what Game Time had. Rope or cable or whatever you know, when you have the structures that have all of the cable
Oh,
ropes,
yeah,
whatever you
right.
want to
It's
call them,
walking,
because they're
yeah.
a little
Like
bit.
the community room,
Huh?
similar to the community.
That's exactly, this is, on wire road.
Oh, no.
With a coating.
Okay.
This is like at, Jacob's Well. You know, there's this big tree trunk thing with a spider web in it at Jacob's Well. It's more like that.
Oh, you meant for something for.
Okay, that's what-
Or you mean the when they're already in?
You're right, wire road. Or-
Both, it's the same, if you use Game Time, they use that on whatever they use these cable rope type structures. And the guy said, he sent me a sample, I'll tell you about it. It's about 3/4 of an inch in diameter. The core of it is about 1/2 of an inch in very strong plastic, cabling, I guess. But then wound around the outside are smaller metal cables that are coated with plastic as well. And it appears to be very strong. It wouldn't stretch at all. So if you have kids bouncing on it for 5 years, the cable's going to be the same length after 5 years as it is when it started, because it's cable under there. It's not plastic.
Yeah, I've seen parks that have had those climbing, the big tall climbing ones for years, and they seem like they hold up. By the way.
Except at Blue Hole. I went over to Blue Hole and I shot some photos of it.
No, at the.
Blue Hole,
soccer fields.
The park,
Park.
Blue Hole. They have a play area over there and it has like a rectilinear net thing.
Mm.
And all of the coating on the cables is just hanging off like it's a ghost ship from Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's time for maintenance. How old is that place, Gabe? Do we know?
I don't know. And he said, and it gets a lot more traffic than the Jacob's Well one does.
Oh, yeah.
But the Jacob's Well one is 5 years old. I talked to the people over there. And they say it gets a lot of use and it looks as good as the day that it was put in. So I had kind of a knee-jerk reaction to the structures I saw with all the ropes and cables initially. I don't want any of those. But then the more I looked and the more I talked, the more I thought, if kids like them, that's cool.
I think it's really important to like really focus on what kids are actually going to use. There are sometimes when you, like, they look great, these big structures, the kids get bored with them and they don't want to go back to that park because it's boring. And so kids do like that. I asked my kids, like, you know, what are the things you like at parks? And, like, that is one of them.
Hang on to something or, yeah.
Thanks for climbing, monkey bars, thanks for spinning and, swings. And my daughter does slides, but I was like, there will definitely be a.
Well, there were these 3 kids, we were at Victoria Lucena last night, and there were these 3 kids running off the playground. I said, what was your favorite thing in the playscape? And the kids yelled, slides. So, and I know my 2-year-old granddaughter likes slides.
Yeah.
Um,
This really depends on their age too. I mean, I'm gonna say I was a preschool teacher for 15 years. And I took my grandkids to, when they lived in Austin, to all different parks in Austin. I've spent more time than most adults in parks in my lifetime. And, but it depends on age too. And you know, what's age appropriate, slides are real age appropriate from about 2 to 4. And then they get into more climbing and more swings are actually good for, and there's that, my daughter-in-law's at OT, but there's actually something that develops in your brain, that going back and forth and the twisting that they actually need developmentally. So it's all, but you know, this structure right here would be good for 6, 7 and under, but after that, they'd be bored with this.
My son gets bored super easy
I
on.
don't like that anymore.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's really cute though, like.
well, you know, the one at Blue Hole is really bad for toddlers.
Oh, I
It's really
think so,
sad.
yeah.
Well, sitting up is better for, I hated going there with my little ones because then they'd want.
There's no swings, there's one slide, yeah.
Yeah.
Any of the 3 options that Todd sent us recently are better than that.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's what I got in the bottom of the first go around. And then all of a sudden, when we got funded, there was a lot more options.
I'm gonna play,
They're all set.
I'm gonna play the devil's advocate right now, but I think it might be worth actually looking at some slightly smaller playscapes. If that could mean we could get some of the other things too, like that thing that you sent that had all of the 5, like, or 6 important things.
Yeah, let me talk about this for just a second. Yeah, apparently, when I was getting the rope sample, I was talking to Todd about the cost and such. And he said this new initiative has come out and it's a state-sponsored initiative, or state-backed or whatever, called Play On. And if your, playground equipment meets these 5 different criteria, and I think this is stuff we sent out to the whole group.
Yeah.
As long as it meets those criteria, you can get a very heavy discount. And he said that discount would be roughly equivalent to the discount that we would have gotten with that grant thing that Todd was talking about. He said a very hefty
Now,
discount.
it's not gonna be the same discount that they're already like advertising on websites, right? When all 50
No, it's, you know, but he seemed to be very impressed with it, as long as the equipment meets those 5 things, and 2 of them, or 3 of them are things that we don't currently have incorporated in any of the playscapes. And that is the brachiating, which is the monkey bars,
Okay.
the balance beam, which I tried to make the point, well, can't we just use a log? And he said, no, it has to be some sort of area.
Oh, really?
It has to be their equipment. And then, but it's cheap anyway. You get a little balance beam for $900.
Yeah.
A pipe for $900. That's a bargain.
Hold on, I'm trying to catch up here.
I'm sorry. It's a workshop. You don't really have to take notes.
I don't know.
Todd's the sales manager for Game Time. It's not Game Time, Game Time Manufacturer. Yeah, Cunningham Recreation, which
Okay.
was TRP when we first started all
Okay.
this.
And then the other thing is the spinning, which Elizabeth said her child or children were advocating.
Yeah, my daughter said to buy over at James Well at school.
And which kind of spinning?
What is
My
it?
kids like the merry-go-round, like you kids can get on it and one. Yeah.
Either that or.
Like one of these, or they make ones you can sit on, or they make ones that are handicap accessible. I
When I was
think.
about 8, I spent 5 days in the hospital because of one of those.
Oh, yeah, but.
Those dangerous things of the playground.
But they're- I like that. That's more dangerous looking.
I'm gonna say it, don't fall into a tree head first.
Oh, that leaf thing is like the dirt cheapest thing. It's like,
What's the leaf thing?
it's like you sit on the leaf and spin around.
Thing that stands around is best because that's control, no?
No.
Some of them don't count, but
What
no.
about the one at Blue
Oh,
Hole?
wait a minute, go back.
The kids fight over.
They buy, or this first option.
This one?
First, the one at Blue Hole is an upright thing that has a spindle, it's like a spindle, and it's off center.
Is it a hole?
Yeah.
There was a market balance the other day.
Don't get all hung up.
That's-
It's fine, it's.
Yeah. that is.
Oh, is this what you're calling?
No, but not like that.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
not the one at Blue Hole.
The one at Blue Hole is a weird thing because it's like a spindle that has a small platform and it's off centered, so it doesn't spin concentrically. It's a, what do you call that when it's doesn't spin.
Eccentric?
Yeah, it's an eccentric spin. And the kids.
And it's
the
one
kids will
child.
follow it.
One
They
child.
stand in line.
Oh, is
they
it
fight.
just one kid at a time?
No, they pile 3 or 4 on there.
But it's supposed to be one kid at a time.
No, and I think 2 is probably
They
what
used
you
to have this at a playground by my old house, and the kids really liked this.
That was
And it felt
safe.
I'm less concerned about safety, and I actually have small children, because they get hurt all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
But.
They generally make the back all that.
But you were worried about people.
But I don't want my kids running the street.
Oh,
I'm not worried about them falling on things, I'm worried about them
Hit by
racing into the road and hitting by. So I generally, the people don't make me nervous, because I don't like that. I don't like.
So
No, it's not really.
We've got two other parts.
Yeah, but that's why I said, what do you really like?
Let me kind of had this thing, I kind of like, would, do y'all think, and just, like, a smaller, maybe place that in more ancillary, like, side things?
Well, that's
Just
what
maybe
you're-
we should explore that, because I think sometimes on the really big playscapes, a lot of the things on there, no one plays with. Like the weird little things where you like move a thing around a thing, and spin a flower, like.
And you might have with those big ones, they try to address different age groups, but then you have a 2-year-old that's trying to go up to the top of the slide, that's for the 8-year-old, and your person, you know, it's a grandmother trying to.
And you're going up there with your.
Yeah. I will say that I do find the ones that are aimed for younger kids, like, they get bored of those when they're like 2.5.
I know, and I don't want you to get bored.
Right.
So I just think it could be cool to have a few, like, maybe we spend
Oh, that looks cute.
less on the big thing to
I'm
get
sorry.
some of the cool second ancillary.
Scroll down so you see the price on that. Scroll down just a little bit so you can see the price on that unit.
Did you see it?
It's up at the top.
I don't know, oh,
50, they're all kind of the same price.
57?
Yeah, now see if you got something that size and then you could put the other cool,
Y'all
I
like?
just don't like the shapes of those
It
things.
looks like
They look
shrimp.
They look very.
like big blue orange spacecraft.
My children said that's for babies.
Yeah. We like it for the other.
Actually, with the ancillary.
My kids said that on babies.
That's one looks cheap.
Yeah. I'm gonna play skate in that money or.
Now that one though,
I like that, we like that.
and it has slides.
Yes.
For the little bitty kids, they really do like the slides.
Yes.
Also, anywhere that it, because y'all are doing this like mulch stuff, that's not mulch. But
Engineered wood fiber.
anywhere that kids can pretend it's a restaurant. Because good lord, will that mulch be a french fry or money you pay with, or you know what I'm talking about? It's like that, like whether it's a playhouse.
Well,
or
we're
something
gonna-
incorporated into the
Yeah.
We're gonna have loose parts over in August.
I think it'd be cool
Suzanne, will you show the one I sent you?
if there's a way to incorporate that.
I don't think I put it on here.
I just emailed it to you again.
One more time?
If you may have-
I just emailed it to you again.
Playground that's in the market in Austin, the north one. It's the best playground I've ever seen at a restaurant, that they have like a little playhouse that like all the kids pretend is a restaurant, and it's adorable.
Can you get a
They
picture?
do that at Moral Park too.
And more.
Monica,
Underneath.
if you've seen the kids play on a lot of the big spider web rope type things.
You can scroll down and they're in there.
Climb up those.
Who-
Oh, they do like to climb up
Yes.
those. They love tunnels.
My favorite is the rope flower, but nobody else likes it.
Let's see it.
My kids voted me down on it.
Is that one, the spaceship one right there?
It's kind of Shrekky, but it's cute.
Can you tell me why you like it?
Look at the climbing function.
Look at it, look at
Oh.
the overhead view. Running and screaming and climbing.
Yeah, yeah, and hanging.
Kids do like those.
What are they?
Well, the kids like this because I showed it. Showed them this one first, and then when I showed them the third one for casino, that's the one they want.
Yeah, well, that-
Which is this one.
This on
The,
the,
the one, I've heard the best feedback on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, can you smell these things together to put the climbing structure, let that rope climbing structure on something like that?
I don't know, I don't think so.
I wrote mine.
That's.
what, Thompson, Alan Miller, he has one that you can.
No, that's the only one that have break-in, those little knobs.
But then, so my kids really like the next
This feels
That-
busy,
that's not
this
this
feels busy and like a lot of it might
one.
be
For the,
nonsense.
yeah, for the, to look busy.
Yeah,
But my kids were adamant, it's the one they want.
I like.
Oh, really?
this
Is
one.
it very?
Oh.
This is the cheapest.
It has 3 slides.
Yeah, it's got different levels.
It's $83,000, which is actually $13,571 cheaper than the one I proposed.
Oh,
Allow us.
So
So extra information, break you and spin. If we did
Wait a minute, what about the brachiated?
if we did the cheapest one, that's still big.
Oh, yeah.
Could we throw in something for radiating or spinning?
Yeah, they.
I
I don't hate that one either.
Okay, can I ask a question of the whole group?
Okay.
Can I ask a question of the whole group? It sounds like I'm hearing a consensus of us talking about a slightly smaller playscape with more ancillary things.
I just think it's good for kids to move
Well-
about that space.
Anybody who feels that way, raise their hand.
It's okay if it's not.
But you don't feel that way as much. I'm not trying to pin you down, I just want, you're not talking a whole lot, you're trying to get input.
I will when I'm ready.
Okay.
I mean, the different and I'm listening, I'm liking the running about, you know, these, that's incorporated in these holidays, more expensive ones too.
It's the running and the screaming and the climbing.
Not saying you're building upwards, so you
So-
have that room around.
Yeah.
I just see
Right.
kids, my kids get bored on PlayStation after a while and
You
then
don't
they
wanna
gotta
do
move
it.
around and go to do.
Not that thing.
I think that first one, the one, what's it called?
This is a Blakely. This
No,
is-
the, Avior, no, that's not Avior, rope flower. This one right here,
There's a lot on this.
man, there's a lot going on with that right there.
Okay, right, because you just go in here and say your kids like the never rope thing, I do think the rope thing.
I think the rope thing is a big deal. And look, and how many kids at one time can you pack onto that playground?
A lot.
A lot. It's got a little bit. Exactly.
What's it, slide?
It has a slide, which is
But they
a
could
deal
add,
breaker according to my daughter's. concern.
That's a big slide.
It needs to have 5 slides.
There's ten to add them to, then ten to be added up to.
There has to be an outlet for it, but
You have to do game time, or can we look at other places?
Well, we're already.
you can look at other places, but
It's
game
not
time is
a lot
kind of
of
where it's at. There's so many municipalities are there. They just seem like, we don't have to, but they, I mean, they are kind of where it's at. They,
Yeah,
I think this is awesome.
yeah, when you look at it from
I
the
wonder if
front,
it's taller than we think it is.
yeah.
Wow.
how tall am I? Wait, look, it said there's a thing, how tall?
Measure,
How tall am I?
place to measure, yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's how tall is the kid.
Oh,
You be able to scroll to the bottom? No, but. There, so apparently, that over there by the telescope on the right, it says 8 feet, so the floor is 8 feet.
8 feet off the ground?
Yeah, the tallest fall height is 8 feet on all of these units.
Okay.
I went to the brochure and the brochure doesn't tell me how tall it is. But,
On all of their units or, okay.
well, just on these 3.
Okay, was that one that your daughter likes, that's really tall, that would look like.
Yeah, it is, but I think it's enclosed.
Crunch bar, does that do the
Yeah, what is it?
breaking?
No, I'm sorry, it has a 12-foot fall height.
Oh, wow.
No, Crunch Bar doesn't count. I looked through the whole thing. It has to be
Okay.
there's a different kind of bar that it can work, but a Crunch Bar gets you nothing as far as
Hey, it
that.
has bongos.
What's your orange floor?
Oh, yeah, so they can play.
I think it's like.
That's too, that's
Like,
very.
it was waist height bar that they put my name on.
Yeah.
I all of that, and like,
This, I like that.
see that y'all
Well,
have
it's in
done
the
that.
box. I can't see it.
Like,
Yeah, there's also, I guess it's called a mellow.
Mel.
Oh.
Okay.
It's kind of like a xylophone.
This is cute, but these are like more safe looking pads.
Yeah,
that
and I
we're
like-
worried about with the seat. I just,
Do you
it
like
gets a
it?
lot of kids
I do, well.
into it at once.
I
Yeah.
like the.
These are
And
cool
that
too.
is
the
like-
spinning pump.
Oh, you hang.
Yeah.
And I was-
This is even bigger.
We can have.
Yeah, I like that it's not like that, but it's.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's great. This
Yeah.
one looks like something that's like,
Yeah,
that
more like.
looks like Burger King.
Can we get,
Sit with one.
so everybody can hear us on the video?
That looks like, yeah, listen,
I mean, it's a work.
workshop.
Yeah, I know, it's great, but I can't.
But
I
wait,
love
you're,
this ball.
you're supposed to say something or something, point of order.
Well, but at a workshop.
It's not bad.
Point of privilege, complain about.
Thanks of Kevin's ears.
Complaint of Kevin here.
We are getting very chaotic.
What view do you wanna see on this thing? I was trying to get the product.
Well, you have to view a moment.
You want to
ago.
talk?
How much is this one?
I was trying to do the.
94, which is-
That's what I'm saying.
That's back in the.
Let's try to have one person.
Rope flyer.
Chip, does anybody know what the modern transfer is?
What does that mean?
No.
It's on the top, left of center.
I was wondering if that was an ADA thing when I was looking at it.
Yeah, oh, it could be.
I would imagine that a lot of the rope things would be good for kids that are in wheelchairs, so they could really
That's
up
probably
to them.
wheelchair access. If you look down at the ADA accessibility, ground level, there's 6 ground level accessible items.
So they have really
Top
good
view.
options.
Well, they usually do.
They do.
It depends why they're in a wheelchair.
That's gonna be a ramp up to the platform.
I can't do anything wrong here.
And that's a 3-foot elevation.
Oh.
So if that transfer is long enough, it could be ADA compatible.
And on each one of these, when they give us a plan, they actually tabulate the different ADA levels, things that they do on each playscape.
Yep.
So it talks about how many places it is
Yeah,
ADA
you can, if
compatible.
you scroll up, you'll see it on the right hand side, or scroll down, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, they.
Yeah, ADA accessibility, 12 accessible items,
Oh, wow.
18 elevated.
Know that some of those are gonna be those silly things at the bottom where you like spin a wheel. They're not gonna be
Mhm.
like super excited and everything.
But man, look at that rope thing. I can see 15 kids climbing on that at one time.
Yes.
Star tube.
I wonder how
Star tube.
tall that part of it is, cause those.
It looks pretty.
I
tall.
can see
When you
it.
see a
I can
lot of
see
kids
it.
doing it, it's 'cause they're like
Underneath it.
Could you go back to, okay, look, now look, real quick.
That's a question of perspective.
The floor of the tallest tulip is 8 feet. And so the top of that pyramid is probably 10, 15 feet.
It's perspective.
It's making it look that.
Yeah, 'cause if you look at the top view, there's
Can we get this one?
like a walkway that runs out to it, which if you look at things in scale,
These were buckets of water.
that's probably 10 feet out in front of us. Well, here's the thing, the tallest fall height is 8 feet, so it can't be taller than 8 feet.
Okay.
Oh, the rope thing.
Yeah, that's the only, I think
Can
those are
you
really cool,
360
but not super.
Or is it?
No,
No, it's not a 3D model.
I'm not gonna go around here. I can try.
Okay, so it sounds like one thing we generally agree on is getting a less expensive playscape with a smaller footprint that would allow us to have the other elements to meet the play on criteria that would fit in Creekside.
Hang on a second.
Wait, though.
Why are we giving something up, trying to get something
That's what I
else?
was about to.
Because what is the cost of the ancillary items necessary to qualify for the scratch program?
Yeah.
Cause
What do they
it
call
might equal out.
Cause if we got, right now, if we go with the one my kids insist on, the Yosemite with mounds, there's $13,571 on the table there.
You're gonna get maybe 2 of your other
Yes,
items.
that's
you
this
want,
one.
and you get 3.
Yes.
Okay, well, how much is the third one cost?
I don't
see it.
It's gonna work out.
Then let's give them a bench. And we can do a bench the next Monday.
Give up a bench. We may be able to get everything, depending on what the city.
Well, yeah, here's the thing. They can price it. They can price, if that's the one, they can price it with the ancillary items we need and then apply the trash discount, and then give us a quote.
One more question, how much actual space, not budget, how much space is left for other things with one size?
Well, this has to fit in the same footprint as the other one roughly, or it won't work, for the first one.
But my point is how much space is left for ancillary items with a landscape this big? Do we have space for the other things?
Well, can you, like, for a balance beam, can you incorporate that into the footprint, that this is the minimum footprint
Balance
this
beam
requires?
could be just
Anywhere.
stuck over on the side.
Yeah. Kind of a way to get from one end to the other.
Kevin's,
I think the ancillary, if you went that way, because the playscape, it would be in a certain kind of area that's void of trees right now, that those ancillary, play equipment are smaller in size. And I think we would be able to work them into the
The two
area.
spaces. You've got two spaces.
Yeah, I think just because of the smaller scale of whatever it is, we could place it.
We could just take a little extension off the rectangle and put other
Yeah.
things.
So, we may.
Or just by
itself.
Becky,
The other piece we were looking at a few minutes ago seemed to have so many more things on
The first
Which
one,
one?
Yeah.
the,
it.
road flower,
Big one.
road flower.
According to Proflower only having this one giant slide. That,
Oh,
let me
that's a
see the
good
other
picture.
one.
Wait,
But
which one?
I like
This
the
is the
Proflower
Proflower.
has a smaller
No,
slide too.
Yeah, but
My fear with the other one that's so high is, can you imagine if all of us that have, some 2-year-olds are just, they'll climb anything in seconds. And you're getting another mom there to sit and talk, and your
Yosemite has 12-foot
is
pole.
climbing up to the top there, you're not gonna wanna go back there again.
Yeah.
Well, and
there is the road.
there's the other one, it has more, has more to do, and it's safe for all levels.
Which one?
The green one, the tulip.
The green pods.
Yeah.
What is that one?
Is that the road?
I mean, let's look at the green pot again. I get what you're saying, but I'm not sure I agree with it for that green.
Okay, I think what the reason it's a 12-foot fall in Yosemite
Uh-huh.
is because if you somehow scaled the exterior of it, the roof is 12 feet tall. But look, it's completely enclosed where you can't fall off of a
In
actual
elevator.
plane. Yeah,
But we want the road thing too.
I don't eat, yeah.
This
um,
one, the age is 5 to 12 years.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh,
Little
Maybe
bit
older.
So if
I
you go
think
back to
I
the growth flower,
That's,
the age
and
is also 5 to 12 years, but it looks like it could
It's safer.
accommodate smaller
They're
children.
either
which
2 to
have-
5 or 5 to 12. So the 2 to 5 ones are super, we could get, if we have space, a 2 to 5 one for $12,000. That's
On the
cute.
swing set
Cute
area.
little slide and like one thing you climb up.
my kid.
That's so
My kid don't
boring.
wanna go
People
to.
won't use it.
My 4-year-old.
But it would have to, if the concern is that little kids can't get on these, cause I get what you're saying.
Well,
I don't love that one for little kids. Look at that slide. I mean,
But
what do you,
5 to 12 years old.
I just would rather put my child that's 18, not even 18 months old, on the blue one and just go to the short slide, then what am I gonna do with him on this? Am I gonna lug him?
It's for the penny, by the time we get it built, the child will be 3.
Exactly. No, my child did that. Eating today to try to get the park in. He's like, "You're gonna do it today?" Yeah, that's what it's talking about.
Okay, so at least the Yosemite
they would do.
was sort of being discussed and the road flower is being discussed.
Uh-huh.
Have y'all, what are your thoughts on this one and there's 1 or 2 more?
who likes this one? Raise your hand.
Okay.
It's got a little bit of everything.
That looks boring.
It is.
It
Yeah,
looks like a. mini.
okay, who likes the Yosemite? Let's go to Yosemite.
I also like it. Because that's a big slide on the.
Let's look at the top view.
This is Alder Hall 5
I
to
like
12
how much that one costs. So that one's 68.
70 grand.
But that's
It sure does. Why is it so expensive?
The top view of that, so I'm wondering if there's more off that back, you know, where the panels
Very
are.
top of here.
We really can't see very much from these pictures.
So it does extend more and have,
No, it's got 3 slides. Well, and actually, it's got 5 slides.
Eyes are.
Oh, and it has a triple flag.
they're trying to show you the angle through the front of like, oh, this is the best view, but I can tell there was more behind this, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, you get a chance on it, you get some cool other things too.
What is that gray area
Which one?
and all of that? Is that just, what is that?
It looks like just a mesh.
Expanded metal, expanded metal coated with rubber probably, or hard plastic.
There's a cliff wall to the
Kids are so
left.
What is
And
that?
a climber wall.
And some of that stuff is 10 feet tall there.
Whoa.
Well,
I-
I think it's
That's
enclosed
the
all the
roof.
way around.
That's approved.
I don't know if they're showing the roof.
This looks like a playscape a developer would put in a subdivision.
Yeah.
Well, we are a subdivision.
Can't see
Oh.
And,
I don't like that.
You don't like this one?
don't
think it's $70,000.
like me.
So I'm gonna take this off.
Don't hate this one, but I'm fine with if y'all wanna take it
I'm not.
There's a better way to spend $70,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's
So,
take this one off the screen.
Yes, that's
out.
so.
Monkey bars and.
I'm
There's
sorry,
a-
but I'm afraid we're gonna have to. You're good.
So how about space playground?
That one's weird.
What does the top view look like?
Yeah.
Maybe we should look at the top view before I say that.
56,000 and
It's
No.
gonna
It's
be.
just slide.
it's boring.
Boring.
Oh, my.
Take it off.
Unless, unless we did a smaller, taller one for big kids and y'all wanted to do like a taller size one, we can like put 5 feet in.
Now,
I don't.
take it off.
We're gonna spend $120,000 on equipment to do that.
Yeah. Okay, so we had the rope flower, we had the Yosemite. Is the Yosemite still in consideration?
This,
Is that the blue?
The Yosemite's the big towers.
Yes.
With the 3 big slides?
I like the
This
Yosemite.
is Yosemite.
Climbing thing.
I'm not opposed to that one, because it's actually kind of awesome,
If your
but
daughter likes it.
But we
Yeah.
don't have a rope thing.
You add, and you might do a separate. road.
yeah, there's line, there is a rope thing on this one.
those are hard. If you go back to the model view, they're like solid, there's like leaves sticking off of that. See it over there on the right, underneath the,
This,
yeah. that's
okay.
fine.
I forgot to open the gallery.
Yeah. But I know we can order
Okay, was there one other one that we were looking at?
The pod one,
the problem.
Elite.
Oh, the
yes.
the tulips.
The two, let's.
Yeah. Let's go back
I
to
think
the
it's
tulips.
pod.
I think
It's a pod.
Oh, it is the rope.
it's just that color, and when it's in that setting, this one looks architecturally significant.
They like the color of it.
This will be on the front page of the Beverly View.
It's about the community, and the really tall one for the houses around there, that seems kind of awkward.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, and kids could be up there looking down into their backyards, that would be.
They don't like it.
Hey, I wonder if we could do away with the climber, it won't benefit us, and put another slide on it.
What do you mean?
Oh, yeah, that-
Climber.
Oh,
Yeah, it's that climber over there that's basically a ladder
Oh,
on
yeah.
the left side.
Oh, yeah.
Now go to the top view,
yeah.
Look like the
Oh,
short.
and so put a little.
obviously,
slide on.
there's obviously a door there.
I bet you could do that.
Instead of a climber, could they put a slide on it?
Good point.
I would like to see a slide that a small child
A little one.
like can do on their own.
Yes.
The bigger one, it's about 3 feet tall. That
Because
one right
my
there.
baby is 14 months old and can go down the slide of Google. He would not go down that.
There's
Without
rings
me,
in
and I don't
there
always
next to this
We
one.
can go down that smaller plot on the left-hand side.
She said put a slide there.
Right, that's what I'm saying, because it has the ADA or the ramp up there.
It's nice if it's something a parent can reach to put them on and they can come down.
Right, because that,
That's
And that
pretty.
appears to be that.
on the left-hand side, so
We
take
can
out the
Yeah.
semi-cone or the,
It's growing on.
You could do like my wife did and slide down the
It's
slide.
going
maybe.
to, especially since I saw it along here. Okay, so we have Yosemite and rope flower. Are there any other considerations out of this?
Yosemite is this one.
Yosemite? Rope flower, Yosemite? Oh, yeah, what are the prices?
83,570 is the $13,000 positive delta for us. The rope flower one is back in the neighborhood of the initial price, which was 97,000. We're gonna have a budget problem if we do that one, but I would give up everything else there to put in something that looks like that.
Yeah.
It's a nice one.
It is, I think it's.
Well, we don't want to give up everything,
On planes, you got it.
okay? But maybe, I don't know, we need to talk to them about the rope flower.
And when they come back with a price, the price they give us, that's the opening of negotiations.
Yeah.
That's not the price that we have to pay, it's the opening of negotiations.
Where do we find out what colors things can come in?
They can come with,
They,
It's like-
website,
If we have something like this, can I get it in a green
you
or
can
brown?
get anything you want, in any color you want.
they've got 12 different colors.
we will bring the colors at the
Later.
next meeting, once we'll bring bids for
Oh,
Seven grand.
whatever equipment, yeah,
Oh,
And they're on the website too,
and you can look at colors
yeah.
and
So, in terms of style and activities.
And for what it's worth, folks, I think most of our meeting is gonna be this workshop and not the other agenda items. Because we still haven't really nailed, we can't really make decisions and take.
Yeah.
There will be some action on these things. I feel like you're about to have to leave, Becky.
I have to leave in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, can we discuss Augusta Park for a minute?
Yes.
And get your thoughts on those, before you have to leave.
Sure. Have Augusta Park in here?
It's on the back page of the.
Elizabeth, you.
We've got the bocce ball court over there, and what should we do with the bocce ball court?
One option is to return it to its use as a bocce ball court, which I'm not advocating for, but it is a bocce ball court.
It just seems silly to me to like not.
Why don't we make it a putting green?
Well, I like that idea where it could be both.
Yeah.
Bocce and what?
So did you guys, were there any negative, ideas on using the putting green material for bocce ball? Oh, you had the color, you were worried about the color.
Yeah.
The green.
Right. Well, because it would show every leaf and everything, the green would. Whereas
Can you get putting green?
a beige
Beige?
color would not show.
That's a good question, I kind of doubt I do.
You can write a check, they'll get you just about anything you want.
And that's not a big issue, yeah.
Yeah,
I guess somebody's gonna have to bring their blower over there. and
Yeah.
things happen, but I'll-
well, Becky lives right across the street.
I don't.
In my, stroll, I live close to, I can blow that up.
I think it would be kind of nice that people could use it as a putting green too and a golfing.
I personally think the bocce ball court is just not used.
But it's not used, it's not used.
Not used because it's not usable.
No balls there, I mean, I didn't.
And it's
I
so
played
hot
bocce ball
down
there.
there, like, I mean, clean it up.
My wife's
But
family lives like that.
you guys, that I just don't think that ping pong's gonna get used more than basketball.
Oh, I think big balls
Oh.
use a lot more.
I think the teams are gonna be hanging out for ping pong.
At the big, you think the ball.
People playing the teams, beating us.
What we talked about when we did our walk around
Uh-huh.
meeting was getting Elizabeth had a picture of a really nice score board that would make it more appealing.
Oh, yeah.
And then of having some kind of
Where do we want to?
catering thing to hold the balls.
Right.
It's not.
And the
expensive
rules
either.
there on that instead of on
And
the sign that
I
nobody.
think we have the rules in a way that people can read down and
Yeah.
read them and.
That's what they have like
And
at,
if we do this.
at, La Messina, no, La Messina, what
The
is
restaurant.
the restaurant?
Tutorial.
Tutorial, no, it's not Tutorial, it's the one that's owned by the same people, but it's over by Costco. They have bocce ball courts there and they have the rules, right?
Oh, Mandalas?
Yeah,
Mandalas.
Mandalas, and they have the rules right posted right in the middle of the court, right in the middle on the sign, and the rules. And I sat there and watched this family, they were looking at the rules and they were playing and laughing and.
And that is an obstacle because I've gone over there and I go, how do you play this?
Yeah, I have to go back and forth to the rules like that. And yes, the rules being right there is a great
The
idea.
rules and scoreboard.
I think all of that is kind of slam dunk unless somebody really objects to it.
And then you gotta get a resident who wants to play bocce ball league, doesn't that,
Yeah.
that would really be great.
Can we wait to do the wheelchair accessibility to see if people use it? Cause otherwise we're spending, we're
That's,
spending $400 or $500, or maybe more, maybe, but like, it's a lot more than.
I feel like we need to do that.
I feel like we need to see if there's anyone on a wheelchair that's ever gonna play.
But it's
The
on
people
your
in the wheelchair, no, that's not.
There are places, okay,
See that.
criteria factor there as well.
Making the playground more accessible, so like you can actually wheel a wheelchair across.
It's not that big a cost item. It really, we're got it. And By the way, Becky and I did talk about labeling, a lot of the plants over there and having certain dedicated indigenous plants over there. We did a little walkthrough one day. And so there's a lot of good signage at the Wildflower Center that we could do similar signage to that park.
And there's a area we weren't, really didn't even realize was there because it's so wooded that would make a really nice, we talked about a trail and kind of a, obstacle course.
Yeah.
And there's a wood area that,
And the skid steer made us a nice little trail through there, yes.
yeah.
Oh, wait, a different area?
Was that gravel laid down for the park?
No, it's an extra
Is that the name?
Yeah, and I talked to the guy, I'm going,
No, it's Elizabeth, that, once the people put up their fence on that side, you can see how far the park property goes. And right around in that.
it's bigger
area.
than you think it
It
is.
is, yeah.
Okay, so
Close
those
to the-
trees.
Yeah, got walk through
Okay.
there and you'll see, okay,
Okay,
bye,
cool.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Has anybody
No.
ever walked over there?
Yes.
My kids
Yeah.
play over there.
I talked to the guy with the skid steer and I said, you need to get all of that, gravel and everything up where it's not gonna wash down into that culvert and block all of that.
I think
So
I
back
had
to
all
the-
those notes on that second page
Yes.
of what was handed out at the beginning.
Okay.
If I missed anything.
Scoreboard for bocce ball.
And I'll put some thought into this since we had our last walkthrough. I would say we should return this to a fully functional bocce ball court with scoreboard, storage for bocce balls and provide bocce balls, which can't be that expensive. We can surely buy them off Amazon. My family and I, we can go down there and play bocce ball.
Yeah.
We have gone down there and tried.
But let's take that through the agenda, item, Augusta Park, because we might go ahead and, I don't know if we should make a motion at this time to act on that.
It wouldn't be very
It is
expensive.
a separate
And high use of existing structure.
That's exactly what I think. And it's crazy, we have this, we might as well make it functional.
Because
It's already there. And you know, when we had the other plan, you know, we did, and I brought this up, I mean, and one thing that she really stressed too is, you know, if you're gonna make it more functional, you've got to make, there's no path down to it from the, you know, just make it more appealing. You park and then you walk through grass, especially if someone has a stroller or if they have a walker or something. I just think that would be an important thing to make it more appealing.
It needs a vibe.
Yes,
There's
and
no
it
vibe
has to
there.
be welcoming, it's just sitting in the middle there, if there's a path that walks from the
Well,
park.
if you look at the plan that we did of Augusta Park, there was a large decomposed granite area in between the parking area and the bocce ball court
Mhm.
that was leveled out more. It provided a pathway to the bocce ball court, and it was also an area for the ping pong table. And so it kind of served all of those
Yeah,
things, and so it would do, I think, what you're saying
yeah.
Are we gonna provide the stuff for ping pong or people?
initially.
Okay, so is there something we can get that's sort of like
Box.
a box, but like, and even, I would love it if it was like, what I would envision, I don't know how to get this, is like for the bocce ball court, you have something that's kind of like this height, and the rules are on here, is there any way to store them underneath it? And then you have your scoreboard right over it, so it's all like, right, like, oh, here are the rules, here are everything, oh, here they are, you know?
And I think that's great, but that's kind of the next level.
Yeah, that's kind of how that's how I like envisioned it when we were, Becky and I were talking it through, and
Yeah, just something that makes it user friendly.
I know there are some people that don't really wanna see it as bocce ball, but I agree, it's like it's already there, I don't.
That's what it is.
No, I think we pretty much have a consensus on it saying.
And we can do
bocce ball.
loose parts, we can do some other, you know.
And
people
those
that
could be
don't-
back in the back,
But they're still
back in
big.
the back where all of this area is gonna open
Yeah.
up after our work day over there.
I was gonna say, cause who wants to walk in that area? It's just.
Well, we'll have to figure out where those parts go, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the rain garden that takes up a lot.
And also too, with all of these parks, you can always go back and add stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know there's some stuff that in the works where there might, you know, every year there might be a new addition to the parks or some way to get new stuff into the parks. So it's more kind of a conceptual, okay, do we want this Augusta Park? Okay, is the bocce ball gonna be kind of the focal point with some trails or something? And so, kind of.
For now.
Right, for now, and I think,
Plus the ping pong.
plus the pink or whatever y'all want, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna do a concrete.
Um,
We already have the bones here, I mean, there it is, we need to buy the correct substrate to put inside of it, redo the boards and
yeah,
buy some bocce balls.
okay.
Exactly.
And we're in the bocce ball business.
Yes.
And
And
put it-
then for the timing.
We need to, I'm sure,
Yeah.
You don't think
Good
it
point.
wants to be better upright, so people that are sitting around it can read it, you don't have to stand over it. You know, I think on one side, on the back side, maybe, or. Probably. Like you said, that's like.
Trying to like figure out a way to like have, where you keep them and where you figure out how to play it all on.
so it sounds like,
Just put it in the shape.
we're going to have at least one more meeting
This-
before we even arrive at any sort of, we're gonna be gathering a lot of estimates. And we need to get estimates on multiple things, it sounds like. Because until we really understand the cost of the playscapes with the ancillary items, we can't make an educated decision.
No.
And, we talked about Creekside Park, we've got a good survey, we've done a lot of workshopping, can we go on to the agenda right now?
Sure.
And try to plug through that pretty quickly, because everybody I'm sure is getting tired. Okay, did the workshop, so we're leaving the workshop, we're talking about the triangle and, discuss and take possible action regarding items to be acquired for the triangle. I don't think we're ready to acquire anything. We still need to,
I think I don't have. It's kind of this, I got two of this.
we need to nail down estimates.
I got pricing now.
So we need to make a motion that a subcommittee seeks an alternate bid for a
I pulled it up on.
alternate, gazebo design, like for a larger structure possibly. With
Options.
a different composition for material.
Yes.
Well, I think we not that instead, but that and, not or, but and.
Yeah.
We need to have estimates for both,
Mm.
because if we just get the big one and we can't afford it, then we're back where we were.
Do you want me to go back to
Yes,
fifth room and,
no,
okay, because that,
because they're not buying.
that's okay, that's fine, I just.
So we need to go, you need to go to lead, play, and play. So, were you gonna make a motion that the subcommittee do what you just said?
I'll move that the subcommittee responsible for the gazebo construction of the Triangle Park seeks out an alternate bid from Lee for a metal
Lead,
structure,
park, and play.
from Lee Park and Play for a metal structure. And we want an alternate price on a larger structure.
Yes.
Well, we want a 16 and a larger.
Mhm.
That's, I would like to suggest to do that.
So I've made mine, just amend it and we can do a roll call if you want.
Okay.
I have a second though.
Oh, I second it.
Okay.
Second it.
We got so far away from Robert's rules of order. I just completely forgot.
So your original motion is to, the subcommittee to responsible for the gazebo at the triangle, seek alternate bids from Lee Park and Play for a metal structure, 16 feet
16 feet and 20.
and 20.
I would just say variable sizes.
Yeah, and for variable sizes.
Ranging from 16 to 24 feet.
Very,
So we
very,
get it all, yeah, 24.
that'll give us a spectrum at least.
Yes.
That way, if he says
The metal.
23 and a half, we're not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Vice Chair Ruth Ann Gilbert,
Yes.
okay. Board Member Cody Agney,
Yes.
Board Member Justin Camp,
Yes.
Board Member Elizabeth Marr,
Yes.
and Chairperson Pat Rollins.
Yes. Okay, discuss and take possible action on development work and acquisition of equipment for Augusta Park. We talked a lot about the bocce ball court and such. One thought that we had going in on this equipment, going to council, was to try to go in with sort of an omnibus proposal where they could just vote on it, all of it at one time. And we thought, rather than having a death of 1,000 cuts of discussion at a higher level, we could just go in and they could just look at the whole thing and say, you know, we like it or we don't.
Not by park, you want all three parks? Yeah.
I seek advice from our city manager.
Yes.
It's, you could do park by park. Let me think about, because we're not to that yet.
Yeah, we don't have costs yet.
Right, we don't have cost.
And we are balancing cost.
Correct. I mean, it's one, there's a lot of factors. Let me think about it, how exactly we need to present it. But yes, that was, me and Pat had talked, and rather than going for one piece each time, say, here's our
Here's
multi-pronged.
the package.
Yeah, here's the package. We have the grant,
The grant.
and our money,
Yeah.
and this is how we said we're gonna spend it, and this is how we propose to spend it, and let them talk and decide, and make sure that, you know, they give their blessing, rather than go to maybe one park each time.
Yeah. And then
Things could
take
get lost that way.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. And plus, too, it'd be easier on staff and on you if we just take
Yeah.
one package in there and say, we've done our due diligence, here's what we've come up with,
Okay.
and here's our reasons for that.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion that our subcommittee firm up possible equipment for Augusta Park based on our workshop discussions.
Do you mean like getting quotes on repairs and stuff too? What all do we?
Mainly on the, yeah,
I'm just wondering, some of this is a little out of my wheel.
for Augusta Park.
Maybe we could start with the bocce ball court. You're gonna have at least 2 vendors at every park. So we're gonna have at least 1 vendor, if not 2, to restore the bocce ball, because we're gonna have a material vendor, we're gonna have an installation vendor, unless we do it with volunteers. We might be able to do that.
Well, I have a quote right now for the material, and, oh, no, you're right. I've got a material that you can mail order for the turf.
And you can, I can, you want that.
Yeah, this is.
I
I got new quotes on the easy things, but I don't really know.
I've
I'll be glad-
already got
I'll be glad
quotes on the bocce ball court because I did those for the LCRA grant.
Oh, so that's
So-
recent?
It was 6 months ago.
Okay,
But-
a little figures ago.
No. So I can send you that stuff.
Okay.
But if
Just
you would
re-
ask me or remind me to send you that stuff. So
So just the
do
budget.
do we need to have a motion to keep working on Augusta Park, or do we just keep working on it?
Well, this is what I had, the subcommittee, this is what you said, subcommittee firm up the possible equipment for Augusta Park, based on the workshop discussion, starting with the bocce ball court.
Why not
Or do you wanna
the
change
ping pong table and the open space?
Already done that.
Yeah.
Well, we already
It seems like what's important is to see the cost of repairing the bocce ball court.
why don't we just do a motion to continue doing research on the cost and the type of equipment and its cost for Augusta
Yeah,
Park
yeah.
by the 2-member subcommittee.
And type of equipment and cost.
Mhm.
Augusta's a little tougher than the other two, and so.
Well, it is, because
I
it's a
don't-
blank
I
canvas.
don't know what we're doing as far as like, do I not even worry about like the loose part stuff, because that's mostly DIY?
Well, yeah, that's stuff you don't worry about, but like things like that, you talked about the tree with the swings.
I had actually just talked about a swing in a tree, because there was one tree that looked like maybe,
Yeah,
but y'all,
well,
it
and that's,
has to be.
and for what it's worth, and I went up to the Wildflower Center, there were probably 20 swings hanging from trees. Not a single one of them had any mulch, engineered wood fiber, or anything
They're like, they have like
underneath them.
antique chairs and stuff.
Yeah, it's like, it's death on a stick up there, you know?
I'm just looking at this article that
Well, no,
I wouldn't tell y'all, but if trees swing costs $9,000, I'll do it for 6.
Thank you, Cody.
Well, that's about, thank
so did you get that motion?
What I wrote was
Yes.
that the motion was to continue to do research on the type of equipment.
Make a long
by the
list,
subcommittee.
Okay.
I second that motion.
Well, you made that motion.
I'll second it.
No, oh, I made the motion. I second the motion. No,
That's like it's-
with somebody else.
No,
I'm trying to get it.
I seconded that motion.
The Stone Age, and she said she got an updated quote.
She
Again, they're way cheaper.
Okay,
Yeah, like $2,500 cheaper if we did both things through them.
okay.
like on that, we would need 3 quotes anyway.
You're gonna get 3 quotes for everything?
The one that she talked to was a buy board.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. See, that's the problem. But we
They're
could get
cheaper.
3 quotes if we wanted to. So, we have a motion and a second. Could we call roll? please?
Yes. Member Abney,
Yes.
member Camp,
Yes.
member Moore,
Yes,
am I saying it right?
it's an hour, like Bauer, I
Okay.
spelled funny as my own. Everyone thinks it's Mar.
I'll correct it. Chairperson Rawlings,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gilbert. Yes.
Okay, discuss and take possible action on development work and acquisition of equipment for Creekside Park. Um,
Oh, yeah.
okay, so we had a lot of discussion in the workshop about this. We have some candidates that we've discussed ad nauseum, with, rope flower and Yosemite. Do we want to keep looking at other general playscapes that we could then add things to? Or do we want to just look at these two and then look at the ancillary items?
There's also this one, I'm sorry, Blakely, which was the first one that y'all were looking at, or you discovered the flower one.
Well, I kind of like that one. And it has it has a big slide and a little slide. Cody's making a face.
It's not gonna be conducive to running in circles.
Okay.
That one is,
Well, you can run circles around any of these.
I mean, I wouldn't, I'm like, I'm thinking about moving that we, tell Todd to give us an all-in price to make that playscape traps compliant. Because we gotta go somewhere and have new data the next time we meet.
Yeah,
That's all those, monkey bars, bounce things.
Oh.
the 5 items that meet the. plan.
Yeah, I know exactly.
They could come up with a better acronym than traps.
Well, no, that's the.
Let's make big things like snares and, leg traps out there. Kids.
That's it.
Okay, does this thing have, we were also gonna look at if we could add a slide on the shorter platform.
Yes.
And that can just, I don't know, that needs to be part of the emotion, we just ask what, can it be done or not?
If we are going for the traps thing, I doubt they can put all of that on theirs. I still would like to see if we could add like 1 or 2 ancillary things, even if it's like.
Oh, no, that's what we're
That's what we're
talking about.
We're talking about all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
We're
is
talking
it
about
cost?
this plus the answer.
Like all of them, all of them.
Not all of it, it's just
No, just
around it, around it.
Yeah.
Only modifying to get us.
supply, tell Todd, supply the equipment, roll that into the installation cost, and give us a quote, just like he gave us for the first go around when I did this in 2021, and tell us what it costs. And then it's either gonna be it's gonna be too high, or it's gonna be within our budget. He already knows what our budget is.
Does anyone hate the road flower?
No.
Okay.
I think one of the reasons I lean towards the road flower is I think the community is gonna look at that and say, you know, somebody put a lot of thought into that.
It's pretty. It looks like something you see in like a cool park in Colorado.
Yeah, and I also think we really need to consider the neighbors and around there, and you get all those kids up high there and they're.
12 feet up.
You convinced me that this isn't a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a little more diaphanous where you can kind of see through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, defy somebody to go over there. Tell us what's wrong with this thing. I defy you to tell me why this thing doesn't fit in there.
They don't
Well,
like it.
I think it needs a smaller slide, but other than that.
Go with the body.
Do you think the footprint, we can buy a little, I have a little type spot, I'll donate.
Can you let us know when you find out from the guy how this footprint changes from the
Other one,
original?
It has to fit in there, you wouldn't have sent it.
Okay, well, maybe it's a little smaller, because I would love to know how much space we have for those other items.
So, well, like Kevin said, we can fit all kinds of small things in.
And we can add those later too, yeah.
They actually have the electronic, they have the electronic.
Cat bottles?
Yes.
Yeah, they all
And
exist.
so when we get estimates, we'll have them put this into that.
With the ancillary.
In the survey, they have this electronically. They
They
can,
have the DJ.
they can put the equipment on here, or we'll have to have the equipment on here with, you know, the ancillary stuff we can. Put it
And the
around.
other thing about it is, if we have the ancillary things in there, we're gonna utilize a lot more of our space.
Yeah.
Well, instead of having a blank corner over here that's just like has fire ant mountains in it, there's a balance beam.
We're gonna run in bigger.
Exactly. They'll be more exhausted when it's time to go home.
Yeah.
They'll run around that whole area, but they're just around.
Yeah, utilize the space, put it
So
to.
what make a motion to that effect, Cody?
I move that we, have Todd Miller with whatever the name of his company is now,
Cunningham
Recreation, give us an all-in price to make the road flower playscape traps compliant. With both materials
I
and
think it's
installation.
called play on a compliant, isn't it?
I don't know, he kept saying that in the email, that's the only reason I'm saying it.
Play on.
Play on is the initiative.
Okay, that's wonderful. I second the motion.
I'm just trying to finish the first one, sorry. Have Todd Miller with Cunningham
Recreation.
Recreation given all-in price to have the. You wanna say flower or road flower?
Road flower.
Road flower, baby equipment, the trap.
He
Equipment.
keeps saying it. He
Why
say
don't you say make it traps?
Oh, I'm sorry, it's the Traps organization,
It's the play on
and
initiative.
it's the NDS Play On designation.
Play on
So
designation.
we want them to make it compliant with the NDS Play On designation.
NDS plan designation.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Traps is the name of the governing body.
NDA, phone.
Okay.
NDA.
It does.
Oh, right there, NDA plan.
Non-disclosure.
Oh, yeah, it says NDA there, but it says NDS there. National Demonstration Site, so that was wrong.
Okay.
NDS?
Yeah, National Demonstration Site.
We got the,
Yeah,
yeah, the cross letter, we want.
Maybe just think it's a typo in the A and a half.
So did someone second that? Seconded.
so we're going all in on road flyer, give us a price.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
And we still, and swings.
And Todd knows, you know, we'll talk to him, Pat, he knows what our budget is, so his number needs to be at or lower than that price, it's like the price is right, you can't go over.
Can we, I make a friendly amendment to your motion that we include the slides that were originally, not the swings that were originally part of this plan.
Of the other,
Sure,
yes.
Okay,
yeah, those are the most economical swings, all we have to do is paint them the same color as the
Yeah.
rough flower, and they fit right in there.
Since you hadn't actually repeated his entire explanation, you don't have to make a friendly amendment. You can just, since you make that suggestion and he can accept it into the original motion.
Yeah, we can accept that original motion, with swings, and that's, we have to have swings.
Including swing.
Okay, now.
I think
Can you call roll,
Member Camp,
please? Yes.
Member Mauer,
Yes.
Chairperson Rawlings,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gilbert,
Yes.
Member Evans.
Yes,
Discuss and take possible action on scheduling an Earth Day work day at Augusta Park. Earth Day is April 22nd. And, I have discussed
The 22nd, oh, there's all kinds of things going on.
Yeah, anyway, I have discussed with Mayor Rasco about something that we could do in conjunction with that. And I personally was thinking about going over to Augusta Park with my chainsaw and starting to take down all the fallen cedar trees.
I'll help you with that.
And so basically have a work day over there on Earth Day where we're doing a park cleanup.
Yep.
And I was thinking to do that from, let's see, you're in April, it's gonna start getting warm, 8 o'clock to noon or 1. And
Sounds
it
good,
can
man.
go longer if it
That's
needs.
out there.
On Saturday.
I'll bring my mule over there. The trees will all be taken care of right quick. We'll drag them all right.
Well, and the other thing is we can use some of the trunks and limbs and stuff for walkways, pathways and stuff over there and steps and things like that. So we can kind of make a little supply pile out of what's left over that we can do things with.
Yep.
We're debating why we could do another day besides this Saturday, I mean, an additional day besides this, or maybe before
We-
this?
I'm gonna be gone.
Okay,
I'm gone for 2 weeks in the middle of April.
okay.
So if you want to do that,
Well, I don't know what you wanna do, see?
yeah, see, that's the
It's-
problem.
In many hands, you know, like.
Yeah.
Well, and after you do the first one, you kind of know what.
And because there will be more than one work day.
Okay,
This is just to kind of plug into the Earth Day and give it kind of a little tie-in. It needs
Are
to
you ready
be,
to go chainsaw
it needs to
though?
be done anyway. And they're also gonna be doing some Earth Day work over, I think, over by, Cypress Point at the Sometimes Lake over there behind the dam.
It needs it.
Yeah, and so they're gonna have a crew over there, but I was thinking the parks group could focus a little more on Augusta Park since we're killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, I think we can pop out that morning.
Yeah.
You
So,
want us to reach, you want just the parks board?
oh no, we want as many people as we can get,
Do you
but
want us to put out a
yes,
volunteer, a call for volunteers and,
yeah,
okay, I'll work with you on that.
okay. So I'd like to make a motion that we do a Earth Day, work day at Augusta Park. And it go from 8 AM to. Can I make it indefinite?
Yeah.
Yeah, just 8 AM until we get to a satisfactory ending point. Or something like that, I don't know, figure out somewhere to write.
You can just say 8 a.m.
Yeah, just start.
Beginning at, okay, starting, that's good, starting at 8 AM.
Like his birthday parties, but I don't want.
Yeah. And, get, help from city staff and recruiting volunteers.
I'm surprised. social.
Well, I'm talking about recruiting.
Oh.
Yeah, I gotta get my other blade back. Please.
Is it
Exactly.
Can we
on?
get a second?
I second that motion.
Okay, let me repeat it. So your motion is to have an Earth Day work day at Augusta Park, starting at 8 AM and get help from city staff to recruit volunteers.
Yeah, were the words clean up in there?
It's the work.
Just a word, okay, that's,
Fine.
that's good. Okay,
And I'll give it-
yeah, let's just go.
And the date wasn't mentioned just now, is it clear?
Oh, was it not April 20th? Didn't,
And we said an Earth Day work
Earth
day.
Day,
So
yeah, it is Earth Day,
Special
it's April
Earth Day.
22nd.
Okay. You wanna say Earth Day work day on April
That's
22nd?
good,
That's
yeah.
kind of gonna
Be a little redundant.
go.
Alright. There is like one other thing I wanted to bring up.
Wait a minute, we haven't,
Oh,
Member Mallon,
Yes.
Chairperson Rawlings,
yes,
Vice Chair Gilbert,
yes.
Member Abby,
Yeah.
Member Kent.
Yes.
Can I bring up something that's not on the agenda? Is that allowed?
can we have a little, 5-minute workshop here? Okay,
Is it an announcement or is it a discussion?
No, just something that's been like brought up to me by some people that I was into.
Here, we could call
Let's
and.
get it on the next.
Like an announcement.
Oh, okay.
You make an announcement?
Well, I just, been brought up to me by several women in the neighborhood, and I did go back and look at the, comprehensive plan survey, that there are a lot of people that would like to see a community garden, and I know it can't go at any of these parks.
Where,
Is that even something, like, I know there's some other spot, is that even something parks should be talking about, or is that like a different?
Just, there's stuff in the pipeline.
Okay,
I'll put it that way.
and I've heard from some folks that they're not considering it a direct overlay of parks. It's
Yeah.
own entity.
I don't necessarily wanna take it on, but when that survey was done, the question asked was, what would you like to see in Wood Creek Park? And the number one answer was a garden. So it feels a little sad, like over a playground. So it feels
Yeah.
a little sad to not acknowledge that.
Right.
Right,
So it's-
it won't, right now, the plans are not at a
I'm
park.
not gonna do it. I put too much at my house.
It is.
Oh, no, I was just saying, it's not gonna be at a park, but there are discussions ongoing of a place in Wood Creek for gardens, whether or not that materializes or not,
Mhm.
don't know, but we are working on it.
But there's some energy behind it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Cool. I
So-
just, it's been brought up to me a lot and, wanted to just
wait and see.
make the wants of the people.
Yes.
No.
No, we have heard. Yeah. The wheels are turning, of course, the wheels turn very close to come, but
It's city government.
we have to do it.
Like little
You wanna plant like now, so.
Now,
Time before-
Yeah, that's right. One announcement or one about, y'all can have a special meeting if you want to, before your regular meeting. And
Well, we don't have any regular.
okay, well, I'm just saying that if you wanna hurry this up, man, I'm gonna go.
I do too,
And
but
so-
I'm gone.
Oh, that's right.
When are you leaving?
Oh.
The fifth,
Until.
April fifth. I'll be gone until the 17th.
Oh, that's.
I'll go after the pricing with Todd
Okay.
and get that back, and we'll have a special meeting as soon as you get back. How about that?
Like at the end of April, and then,
Right after he gets back.
okay,
Why
I'll
don't
have
you
the
work
pricing
on
before it's back.
scheduling?
right, that's what I want, I don't think it's gonna take
Why
a
don't
whole
you
month
work
to get
the
pricing,
staff
and so
scheduling the meeting after April?
we can get pricing, narrow stuff down, because as soon as we can get it to council,
Better.
the
yeah.
better, and get stuff going.
Thank you, everyone. Meeting adjourned. Sorry it was so long.
Yeah, no, I think it was good, it was long.
No, I apologize.
No,
But you got a lot of.
We knew there's gonna be a lot of work to do
I
here.
feel like that was really productive and good.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be there tomorrow night.
pity anyone trying to listen to the video though.